here we are. There's the two puppy dogs. Yeah, Eva, we made it home. All the round bales stayed on. We were team no strap. Didn't lose a single one. But let's pull them back close for the barn. Got the little spot cleared out for these, and we'll have a few round bales in the barn for once. See how well these 4x stack. Maybe better than the old twine 5x5s. These are more compact and tighter. Might try stacking them on the flat ends instead of on the round side, just to cram more in and use the vertical space better, so I'm not stacking, you know, offset like that. Well, there's that big load in all its glory, waiting to be unloaded. This area where it's parked is going to be chicken pasture, because you can see the tops of the coops over there, and we didn't plant it. And I always let the chickens destroy off the weeds this year. So I've got this lovely little area in the barn here for round bales. See how many I can cram in here. The goal is to get more than before when it was the old string tie bales. And I just got that on video, rolling that down the hill so I can come up and stack from the inside, because the roof is higher here than over there, and I foresee problems as I get closer that I'll have trouble stacking 3 high right here. So we're gonna start from the inside. Having a skid steer, this will be great. I used to do this with a tractor. This was a pain. I need so much room, all the stuff would be in the way. But with the skid steer, we can spin right around, and we're gonna fill this up. So let's get to work. So I got some bales in the barn last night from that load we got home yesterday. Some of them were already in here, but I finished off kind of this bay and then started this concoction. So I left over there on the brightness, the planter and the square baler, and I'm using this taller section where I can stack 3 high. I thought about putting those both in the same bay and then realized I'm better off going for the height. Not to mention, see, I've already stacked 3 wide. These are 15-foot bays, and we get more than 3, in this bay because I can cross the line a little bit. So I got 45 in this bay, and between these 2 halves, we'll say, I'll get like 54, I think. So it's much better than the single bay. So out here, coming into the light, I gotta go get the skid steer because this morning I made this lovely load of 38 bales to clean up a whole field in one shot, except I couldn't get the skid steer on it. And I figured I was better off getting all the bales all at once and going back to the skid steer by itself instead of doing 2, like a load of 20 and a load of 18. Like I made like a load of 20 something yesterday and had the skid steer on the back. I did have to throw a strap on this just for one bale that I guess I didn't get. Well, it's not doing anything apparently because there's no tension on it anymore. So I guess it did its job and the bale settled in. That's joyous. And it's not falling off, but we get to do this the hard way. Since the skid steer's not here, we're gonna push these off. Oh, and we'll see the pain of that. Now I'm parked on a slope here. We might as well admire this up close because I forgot the camera in the truck last night and didn't grab a battery. I went to the field. But there's 20, 9 on the bottom, 8 makes 17, and 3 on top to hold it all together. That looks a little precarious, because there's only a center bale. But it rode. We made it here. We made it, but we were only going a few miles. I would not go very far with this. That top bale definitely made that happen, because I think those bales, may not have stayed as well. It's definitely a good load on the back tires. The front tires don't have much because they're in front of it. Well, the back tires obviously have a lot right above. I've seen many bale wagons with heavier rears, and I may look into somehow doing that if I keep putting 20 bales on a load, because, it's not a load unless it's overloaded. Okay, time to see the struggle, all the manual labor of dumping these off. I wish I had a higher place to put this, but when I move this one bale, all 3 behind it get a little tippy. And maybe we'll get lucky and take both layers with us. We are parked on somewhat of a slope. So the joys of the dovetail is that there's a ramp. I got lucky and was able to flip the other one off the side. And on this one, I guess I don't have enough muscle or I'm too lazy. So I pulled the safety pin, and here's where we got to be ready to run and be out of the way. We use our strap bar and pry this off and be ready to run. And we have a rolling bowling bale. Well, I'm covered in about as much hay as if I was stacking it by hand, but mostly a whole lot less sweaty. That's just the joys of not having a door and sometimes driving fast and bouncing around, but we have some round bales in the barn. I was hoping I could get a third one high right there, but I just couldn't. It wasn't working out, getting too close to the roof. So I got them stacked in here. Really, I'm not getting any more round bales in this area than before. I don't think. Don't hold me to that. But it's much smoother. I guess these bales are a little bit bigger than 4x4. I mean, they're 4 foot wide. That's 48-inch nets. They're not sticking out that much. But as far as, the diameter, I know I make them bigger than 4 foot because 4 foot bales look small. So they're probably like 52, 54 inches in diameter, which, whatever. They're inside. They're dry, much easier stacking than the old twine bales. It was delightful. Hopefully it was as delightful for you as it was for me. Because these are just so much firmer that I could do this. If I was doing this with the old twine bales, well, they wouldn't stay. They're much softer, unfortunately. One more thing we got to do before we call it a day. And in this adventure is we got to get that wagon pushed back in the barn. And I'm not going to back it up that hill. So stay tuned for creativity. Well, isn't this just going swimmingly? We're slowly pushing the wagon up the hill. Like TA back and first gear, and the weights should be hitting right about the level of the deck. Should be, or I'm gonna break out this lower board on the bottom, but at least we'll keep the hay in before it rains again.